Hello everyone! So before we start with this video, I just would like to say that the Philippines is in need of help again. The other parts of our country, which is in Mindanao, are currently submerged in flood again and experiencing the typhoon Vicky. So if you want to know where to donate or what to do to help, links are available on the description box. I hope that you could check them out before you continue with this video. Your concern and your support for the Filipinos matter. Everything that you've done for us matter, and we are very grateful for that. Thank you so much in advance, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hey everyone, this is Kat, and welcome back to the bookish side of me. So I hope that you are not very bothered with the rain noise in the background, because currently it's kind of raining, but this is my only free time to do this video without interruption, so I'm so sorry, but yeah, I hope we're good. So before we continue with this video, I just would like to say that originally I actually planned to do bookmas for this year because it's gonna be my first time in booktube, but then I really don't have time. So this video will be up just like a regular video on my channel. Probably I can do bookmas next year, but anyway, let's move on to this very exciting video. So a few weeks back, I thought of this video content that I'd like to do on my channel, wherein I will recommend books based on your favorite emojis, which you all guys replied, and I'm very grateful for the amount of response that I got. So by the way, I posted this question on my Instagram, so if you haven't followed me there yet, please do. It's at her bookish side. I've only chosen 10 emojis that I think that will fit to the books that I've read this year. And these are the books that I've read this year that I haven't mentioned or I didn't mention enough on my channel, so I'd like to highlight them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this started. So let's start first with the emoji that popped out so much on the answers, and that is this one. It's like a sparkle emoji, I think. And every time I see this emoji, I feel comfort. I don't know, I feel like there's something about it that shines and gives comfort, and it's also one of my favorite emojis to use on my social media because I like how it really looks. I don't know why I'm trying to explain an emoji with you. So for this one, I'd like to recommend a poetry book that I actually read this year and loved it with all my heart, and that is For Everyone by Jason Reynolds. So this is my second Jason Reynolds that I've read this year, and I love it. So I chose this book for this emoji because I feel like if your favorite emoji is the sparkling ones, this would be a suitable or a perfect book for you. It is because this is a poetry that talks about dreams, hopes, goals, about life. It talks about how one's dream is valid no matter what. Our dreams are valid. And I feel like this is a book that's literally for everyone. That you can literally get this book, listen to this in audiobook, or get yourself a physical copy or ebook or whatever, and you will just feel sparkles everywhere, and I love it so much. Alright, I think one person answered this emoji. Yeah, someone answered that their favorite emoji is a ghost, and I love it. Every time I see this emoji, I feel like because the ghost is kind of making this face, I kind of think that this is perfect for a scary book, but not that scary. So if this is your favorite emoji, I'm going to recommend you a thriller book that has a little spooky vibe. And the book that I'm talking about is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. So if you're like a beginner in thriller, or you'd like to go into a book that will give you somehow spooky nights, or you'd also like to read something that has mystery on it, this one is a perfect book for you. So this one, if you don't know yet, it follows this nanny named Rowan. So Rowan was hired by this rich family to take care of their children. There are like 3 or 4 children in the story. And some weeks after, a child died. And of course, because she's the nanny, she was blamed and she was a suspect of this crime. Alright, so also some of you gave me this eye emojis as your favorites on the answers. And I don't know, this kind of emojis have different meanings for me. It's kind of hard to define what this emoji is all about. But then I figured I can actually recommend you a book that is kind of hard to describe and kind of hard to figure out what it means. So in short, I'm going to recommend you a book that is very complicated for my single brain cell. The book that I'm talking about is Bunny by Mona Awad. If you don't know about this book, I also don't know how to explain it to you. I'm just going to try to give you some keywords. First off, this is a cult book. Secondly, it's weird. Third one, it's fucked up. I'm just gonna say it's fucked up. So, if you're interested with this book, I highly suggest you to check the Goodreads synopsis. I think it won't give you that much. Oh, and of course, before I move on to the next book, this book is about Bunny and bunnies. And you will never think of Bunny the same way again after you've read this book. For our fourth emoji, I've received a lot of hearts emojis in different colors, in different styles, and yeah, it's all here on my screen. And I think it's a very common for everyone to love a love emoji, a heart emoji, because we love to give love on social media. So I think it's so cute. And I'm going to recommend you a book. If you love romance, if you want love is in the air kind of vibe, because this is your favorite emoji, I would recommend you a book that's one of my favorite reads this year. And I feel like this has a good romance after the first book. I don't know why I'm recommending this to you, but just think that I'm recommending the whole series to you. The book that I'm talking about is The Bone Witch by Erin and I freaking love this book with all my heart. I've appreciated the references that Erin actually includes in the story. I love the characters in this book. And of course, I love the OTP in this book, which is not very evident in the whole story, but you will get to it. I swear, I promise, you will get to it. By the way, if you don't know anything about this is a bone witch named Tia or Taya. I think she was born with this magic wherein she can resurrect the dead. So this is a really fun book. It's a YA fantasy. I think that if you're not into much fantasy, I think that you would get the grasp of it somehow. Alright, so we are halfway through for our fifth emoji. I've actually received a sea emoji, ocean, dagat, whatever emoji this is. But it's also one of my favorites because I love the ocean so much. I love beach so much. This one, of course, I would recommend you a book that is set on the sea. Lalani of the Distant Sea by Erin and Entrada. I think I've said enough about this book on my channel, but I will say it again. This is my favorite middle grade book up to date. This is one of my favorite books this year. I fell in love with middle grade because of this book and because of Erin and Entrada. This is perfect for sea, beach, ocean lovers out there. If you like stories like Moana, I think this is a perfect book for you. So if you don't know about this yet, this is a story of Lalani, who is a 12-year-old girl from this island, and she has to go into this adventure in the sea. I just love this book so much because if you don't know yet, Erin Entrada is a Filipino-American author, and a lot of mythological creatures in this book was based on Philippine folklore, and I just love it so much. So for our next emoji, I've also received some answers with this one, and this is like rolling eyes emoji, and whenever I see this, I feel like it's being used when you're being sassy, like I don't give a fuck energy. Kumbaga in Filipino, this is the emoji for ma-attitude. And I'm thinking of a book that would be perfect for this one. I immediately thought of this one, and I know that I haven't mentioned this on my channel yet. So the book that I'm talking about is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta, and this book is full of sassiness. This book is full of I don't give a fuck energy. This is a novel that was written in verse, so if you're listening to it in audiobook or if you're reading it in a physical or an ebook, you will see that it has like prose. So it's about this boy who's trying to discover or identify his identity and his gender. He knows that he's queer, but he's not sure yet what to think of himself. And then later, he will find his passion in doing drag, like the drag queens. I just love the energy of this whole book. Of course, there's bullying, there's criticism, and you will see that in the struggles of this main character. But I feel like he handled it so well, and I feel like he's just, yeah, rolling eyes everywhere. And also because drag queens for me are just sassy bitches. I love them so much. Read this book. I gave it 5 fucking stars. It's just so good. Alright, so the 7th emoji that we're going to talk about in here is this one. And this is also one of my favorites because I love sunflowers so much. And I will not let this moment pass without recommending a book that is obviously a sunflower itself. And that is Please Pick Me by Reina Regina. I haven't talked about this yet on my channel, but I think the book tour for this one is already done, and I'm not included as a host, but I've read this book in advance because the author kindly sent it to me via e-arc, and I just would like to say that it's one of my favorite poetry books that I've read this year. I freaking love this book so much. I love the writing style, the structure, the message, the metaphors, the illustrations of this book. They are just so freaking good. If you don't know about this book yet, this is a poetry book that speaks about self-love and different kinds of love as well. It is so much more than just being in love or falling in love. This book talks about a lot or different kinds and phases of love that actually makes me realize a lot of things, and I just love it for it. I highly recommend it. It was already out last November 11th, and you can get your physical copy or ebook. It's available in Amazon and available in local bookstores in the Philippines. So please do check this out. I love this book so much. The 8th emoji on this list, this is also one of my favorites because I have a lot of favorites. I call this one the uwu the uwu emoji. It's like puppy eyes emoji when you're like being touched with what's happening, or when you are overwhelmed, or if there's something that happened that is very heartwarming. I think this is the emoji that we often use. So I chose a book that I haven't talked about yet on my channel after I've read it, and I love this book so much. This is one of my top favorite books this year, and this is a perfect book if you love this emoji, if you love heartwarming books, books that will make you teary-eyed and go ooh, like that, all the feels. I feel that this is perfect for one another. Oh my gosh. And the book that I'm talking about is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. And you guys, I'm really saying this, that this book is worth the hype. I've been seeing this a lot since it came out this year, and I've realized how worthy of it, how beautiful this book is for just simply existing. Thank you so much, TJ Klune, for this book. I love this with all my heart. Oh my god. I gave it 5 million stars. I haven't talked what this is about. This story follows Linus, who is a caseworker, and he investigates orphans if they are treating children right. And these children are very special because they have special powers or they have magic. It talks a lot about diversity, inclusivity, being able to embrace, acknowledge, accept your uniqueness, your individuality, and also being able to accept other people's uniqueness and individuality. And I just love it so much. Oh, by the way, this also has a cute romance, queer romance. 9th emoji, oh my gosh. So I received an answer that this is their favorite emoji. And for me, this is an emoji that I use. I don't know what does it mean because they said that it means something else. But for me, this is about suffering face. Suffering, but you're enjoying the suffering. I don't know what I'm saying. But in short, I chose a book that I feel like has so much suffering, but it also gives me satisfaction while I was reading it. The book that I'm talking about is The Wolf of Aranyaro by K.S. Villoso. If we're talking about this emoji, this one is perfect for you. If you don't know yet, this is an adult fantasy. It follows Talien, who is a bitch queen. This is the first book in the series, and she's trying to find her husband and also trying to fight for her nation. And she's having a hard time because a lot of people wanted her to be dethroned. I love this book so much because it's a kind of fantasy or world building that doesn't really rely heavily on magic. I love how this book shouts Philippine culture, Filipino food, Filipino references, and to be honest, I was exhausted after reading this book. Like, I was so tired for Italian. Like, all the sufferings that she's gone through, everything that she's been through in this book is just so freaking exhausting. But I love it so much. That's why I think that this is a perfect book for this emoji. Alright, so we are onto the last book and last emoji. And this one I've received as well. This is the... I don't know. What fruit is this? Because every time I think of this fruit, of this emoji, I think of butts. I don't know if it's peach or other things. So again, we've been using this emoji not because of the fruit it represents, but because of like the butt it represents. And when you say butt, of course, it's about like being smut and being a hoe. And to be honest, I'm not really the type of reader who likes smut in books. And I am also very picky with romance books that I've read. So I only have a few on my selection, and I wanted to pick something that's perfect for this emoji. And I know that I haven't talked about this yet on my channel after I've read it. And this one is Last Time Standing by Lauren Ho. Lauren Ho. I mean, oh my gosh. This is the closest to smut that I could give you in this channel because I don't read smut. So, this book is written in diary format, and it follows the story of this Chinese Malaysian woman. She's 33 years old. Her name is Andrea, and she lives in Singapore. She's still single, and in their family, it's kind of a big deal if you're still single after 30 years old. So, of course, because Andrea is an Asian, she didn't want to be the center of gossip and chismes in their family. So she thought of finding a boyfriend. So she dated several guys. I just feel like the romance in this book was well done. I am again sorry for being chaotic with how I describe this book, but I just love it for all the kilig that it gave me, for all the romance feels that it gave me, and also the hoeing stuff that it gave me. Please read this book. This is an adult romance, and it's very Asian centered, which I freaking love so much. Alright, so that's it for this whole video. Oh my gosh, I was so tired. I hope that you pick some new books to add on your TBR, if not this year, at least in 2021. I hope that you enjoyed this little experiment of recommendations of mine, and if you want to be included on the next ones, make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Twitter at her bookish site. That's it for this video. I have put some important links on the description box wherein you can donate and help my fellow Filipinos during this time of typhoons. Right now, it's still happening. I hope that you are safe, you are healthy wherever you are. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays, happy vacation for some. And just remember that the world is yours for the reading. Bye! And see you on the next one.